WNBA announced their latest initiative. No space for hate. No space for hate.
Unfortunately, this league continues to prove that it's not that. It's actually embarrassing.
It damn near destroyed the league.
2 minutes ago, the WNBA's mask slipped.
New footage has come out.
The WNBA is investigating hateful fan comments after the Clark-Reese incident.
And this time, the cameras caught everything. Explosive new footage just destroyed the narrative the league and its media lapdogs have been spinning for weeks.
They only talked about the flagrant foul, and they only talked about how Indiana is dangerous. They talked about how Indiana is dangerous.
The WNBA has implemented a special program for her this year. The program is specifically designed for fans of Caitlin Clark, or as the mainstream media prefers to call them, evil white people.
The only thing that they are investigating has to do with the Chicago Sky. It doesn't have, they're not protecting the Indiana Fever.
The story isn't about hate in the stands. It's not about protecting players. It's about one thing: silencing Caitlin Clark and punishing the people who support her.
She's the only star in the WNBA worth talking about. Hell, she's the only star in the WNBA, period.
What was supposed to be a heartwarming moment, 17,000 fans cheering, kids waving signs, families chanting her name, has now been twisted into a weapon.
This is what a sellout looks like. 17,274 fans, and it was fully sold out. It was packed.
I'm looking at Caitlin Clark make an announcement today that it's over. The BS, denying her her place in the game. She's going to rewrite and shatter the record books. She could easily average a triple-double.
The WNBA didn't celebrate the moment. They launched an investigation, not into violence, not into real hate, but into applause. Applause for the one player keeping the league alive.
The WNBA is investigating hateful fan comments after the Clark-Reese incident.
And now the truth is out. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's not a mistake. It's a calculated takedown. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just playing the game. She's winning the hearts, the headlines, and the power.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
And for the old guard of WNBA media, that's a threat they can't control. The footage is real, the agenda is exposed, and this time they won't be able to bury it. The footage says it all.
The clip that has seen around the world was Caitlin Clark's foul on Angel Reese that was upgraded to a flagrant one. This is the clip that every media outlet is going to use. Here come the think pieces. Here come the social media trolls who are gonna go crazy over this one play, and I was actually nervous about it.
In a packed arena of over 17,000 fans, not one shred of hate was captured. No slurs, no boos, no outbursts. Just cheers, excitement, and pure support for Caitlin Clark.
It is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlin brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. But again, you do want to balance it because obviously you saw what happened with Juju Watkins, getting hurt. You want to balance making sure that you're also promoting your other stars like an Asia Wilson, like a Brianna Stewart. Nafisa Collier killed it last year. I mean, she was the runner-up, MVP, and the Defensive Player of the Year.
I loved her.
This year, sustain the momentum we had last year and gain even new viewers.
Kids clapping, families smiling, people from every background waving signs for both teams. And yet the WNBA spun it into a crisis. Within 72 hours, the league launched an official investigation, not into the game, not into the actual foul, but into the fans cheering for Clark.
The WNBA said Sunday it is investigating allegations of hateful fan comments directed at Angel Reese during Saturday's game between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever in Indianapolis after an incident involving Caitlin Clark and Reese.
WNBA media has a serious problem. These people are actually saying that the WNBA needs to investigate Caitlin Clark's triple-double.
Let that sink in. They didn't investigate when Caitlin Clark got shoved, elbowed, and fouled game after game. They didn't investigate when players celebrated flagrant fouls against her. But one hard foul involving Clark, and suddenly the league is pushing a narrative that Indiana fans are dangerous.
The WNBA is actively attacking fans of Caitlin Clark. They are going to be monitoring fan behavior at arenas.
This wasn't just a reaction, it was a setup. The No Space for Hate initiative wasn't about unity or protecting players. It was a smokescreen to justify monitoring and silencing Caitlin Clark's supporters. The league didn't even bother offering proof. No footage, no audio, not even a blurry clip.
Unfortunately, the WNBA conveniently failed to provide examples of these violations. Evidence of this alleged harassment, it was never provided, even though the encounter was being filmed.
Just vague accusations and a media frenzy ready to blame the only fan base keeping this league alive. And the timing, perfectly aligned. Just as Clark was dominating on the court and driving the highest viewership numbers in WNBA history, the media switched gears, from celebrating her success to questioning her motives.
An investigation going on because there has been hateful fan comments, supposedly, directed towards Angel Reese, and there were things going on in the arena where now the narrative is back that we heard all last season. The narrative is back that Indiana is not a safe place.
ESPN didn't analyze her game. They didn't talk about her triple-double. They talked about Angel Reese. They talked about how dangerous it was for players to play in Indiana, based on absolutely nothing.
Angel Reese is immune to criticism from the WNBA front office because she's an innocent victim who's being oppressed by white men and women, and in some extreme cases, white they and them.
This isn't about safety, it's about control. The WNBA media saw Clark's rise and panicked because she didn't come through their system, she didn't play by their rules, she showed up, changed the game, and didn't ask for permission. And now they're doing everything they can to make her and her fans pay for it.
If you want to grow as a league, you have to make space for actual sports fans.
What makes this entire situation even more disturbing is how clearly the double standard plays out, on the court and in the coverage. When Angel Reese taunts opponents, claps back on social media, or celebrates a flagrant foul with sunglasses on the bench, she's praised as fiery, passionate, the queen of swagger.
The Angel Reese fans, the old guard, the lowest common denominator that resides in the WNBA, the nose picker, the people that scratch their butt and don't watch their hands, those people saw that Caitlin Clark hard foul on Angel Reese, and they saw it as an opportunity.
But when Caitlin Clark shows emotion, when she stares down a defender after dropping 30, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly she's arrogant, divisive, or worse, dangerous.
But when the policy was announced, I told you guys exactly what this was. It was a direct attack against fans of Caitlin Clark.
The same media outlets that glorify others for being bold and outspoken turn around and dissect every facial expression Clark makes. They strip the context, twist her confidence into controversy, and ignore her performance entirely. ESPN didn't spend a second breaking down her basketball after the Chicago game. Not one highlight of her elite playmaking or shooting.
There is serious demand to see Caitlin Clark. And this dumbass league, they are doing everything they can to convince Caitlin Clark fans to not show up.
Just a loop of her foul on Angel Reese, followed by hours of think pieces and talking heads framing her as the aggressor. And it's not just the media. The league itself is part of the machine. While players like Aja Wilson and Angel Reese get full post-game coverage and social media spotlights for scoring 10 points,
Nothing happened during that game. There were no fans that were approached. There were no players who called out certain fans. There weren't other fans who were reporting other fans to get them kicked out of the game. Fans are petitioning for the All-Star game to not be held in Indiana because it's clearly not safe.
Caitlin's interviews get cut short, her celebration clips get skipped, and her supporters get investigated. This isn't just subtle bias, it's targeted suppression. They're trying to force Caitlin Clark into a box. Quiet, agreeable, controllable. But she doesn't fit. She's competitive, intense, unapologetically herself.
When it comes to a league that I thought was a professional basketball league, unfortunately, this league continues to prove that it's not that.
And that threatens everything the WNBA's old guard has clung to. She doesn't play the media game. She doesn't kiss the ring. And that's exactly why they're coming for her. Instead of embracing the one player who brought tens of millions of new fans into the league, the WNBA and its media allies are doing the unthinkable. They're trying to erase her momentum, punishing her for succeeding too fast, for shining too bright, and for doing it all without their permission.
These leagues have decades of history. They have generations of fans who have been conditioned to watch.
This isn't coverage, it's sabotage. And now the fans are starting to see it for what it really is. This goes beyond bias. It's now a full-blown agenda. The WNBA isn't just targeting Caitlin Clark, they're actively alienating the fan base that's saving their league. The No Space for Hate campaign? It's not aimed at stopping actual threats. It's aimed at silencing Clark's supporters. They're using AI to monitor posts, banning fans from buying tickets, and labeling applause as hate speech.
If there are fans who are saying racial slurs, they should immediately be kicked out and banned.
Meanwhile, there's zero evidence of any wrongdoing. No videos, no slurs, nothing. Just a packed arena of families and fans cheering for the game's biggest star. But because it didn't fit the media's preferred storyline, they flipped it. They needed a villain, and they made it Caitlin Clark.
Where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.
And all the while, Clark just keeps showing up, playing, winning, elevating the league. But instead of building around her, the WNBA's media machine is tearing her down, terrified of the change she brings. Not because she's wrong, but because she's winning without their approval.
It's unbelievable. This is another view right here of Angel just really dropping F-bombs. I think she says, you're effing crazy, something like that, blah, blah, blah. You crazy as F. What the F is wrong with you?
Aaliyah Boston steps in and stops Angel Reese.
And that's their biggest fear. At this point, it's not just obvious, it's undeniable. The WNBA media isn't covering Caitlin Clark. They're targeting her. They're twisting applause into outrage, turning success into scandal, and punishing the one player who's brought the league into the spotlight for all the right reasons.
If you've looked at Twitter, there are posts with 15, 20,000 likes claiming that the Indiana Fever played the noises of a specific animal while Angel Reese was shooting free throws.
This isn't about protecting players. It's about protecting power. Caitlin Clark didn't ask to be the face of the league. She earned it through talent, grit, and undeniable impact. But instead of embracing her, the WNBA chose censorship over celebration. They're not just silencing her voice. They're silencing your voice too. So here's the truth. The footage doesn't lie. The fans were never the problem. The hate was never real.
This is an unfair narrative that's going to be attached to Caitlin Clark. People come out here and get spanked. They're just going to cry and throw their hands up about racism. It's like, no, this is not racism. This is basketball. This is one team busting another team's ass. This is a white player in Caitlin Clark who largely always says the right thing, who is largely inoffensive.
But the agenda, it's never been clearer. If you're done buying into the media's spin, if you see what's really happening, then stand up.
So she hates that part of it and what she sees Caitlin Clark representing. Yeah, I don't think she hates Caitlin Clark.
I think she just hates the fact that she doesn't have the spotlight.
You're nothing without Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate.
Drop a 100 in the comments, share this video, and subscribe for more unfiltered truth, because they can try to rewrite the story, but we're here to set the record straight. This isn't just a sports story anymore. This is a fight for the future of the game.
Love it, that's for sure.
Rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, you guys love it, that's for sure. But I told Michael this yesterday. I was like, rivalry is great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa State. That's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate a rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that love me and support me now. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, but I wasn't your biggest fan. I didn't like the Tigers growing up. So my parents, my grandfather was the football coach growing up, and Valley was our biggest rival. It was the biggest class in Iowa. And I was taught to, growing up, if we were driving by the high school, to hold my breath because I couldn't breathe that air. Like, I know it's kind of funny, but like, rivalry is always a big thing. So I think it's more than anything, like, as a player, you approach the game the same every single time, or you should. That's how you should approach every single game. You prepare the same way. You come ready to play, whether it's the team that's last in the league or the team that's first in the league. It doesn't matter. I think for the fans, it's great. They love it. And I mean, Chicago is the closest team to us. You know, we bus there usually, so I get it geographically. But I think for our team and our group, it's, you know, we prepare the same way every single game. But I expect today to be an awesome game.